I am a refugee. If you haven't met one, I was told that I don't look like a refugee once, so here I am. Well, I grew up in Tehran, capital of Iran, beautiful city, and I have two fine memory of. Sure, I have two fine memory from my childhood. One was there was the Iraq and Iran war, and we would tape the windows, worried about bomb reaching the Tehran, and the window would shatter to our face. So that was one memory, and the other memory was I had a great kind grandfather who was a kind of traditional businessman in Middle East, in Tehran. And he would, whenever we were there on the weekend, he would open the door to this garbage man coming in and sitting with us, having dinner. So I learned a lot from him, the kindness and compassion he had. And I was kind of loving seeing him and growing up with him. So I grew up, my parents got divorced, I left the school, and I was mingling around and growing up until I was involved in a political movement back, I think 15 years ago. It was all over the news, Green Movement in Iran. You can see the protests at the moment happening in Tehran. It was similar, but it was smaller and shorter, and a lot of my friends got killed. A lot of them got arrested, and few of us had to leave the country without notice in a short period. So I chose Indonesia because to go to Indonesia, I didn't need visa and I didn't need to wait. So I had to get the ticket, take the risk of not being arrested in the airport and leaving the country. So I've left the country and I went to Indonesia. I was promised to go to Australia by boat in 2-3 weeks, and it took me 3 years. I had 5 attempts to take boat. None of them were successful except the last one. And in the last one, I got to the boat with 250 people, and only 47 survived because we sank after a few hours in the middle of Indian Ocean. And then I was very lucky to be one of them. And by a help of fishermen, we could back to the shore of Surabaya, some port in Surabaya, and then I was detained here for 2 months, locked up in a cell with other asylum seekers. And then luckily enough, some of us could manage to escape and come back to Jakarta. And in Jakarta, I had to sign up with UNHCR, which I had no idea, and I figured out that I am asylum seekers and I have to go through all the process to get my visa if I am lucky. But I was one of the lucky one. So I got my visa after 3 years, and in 2014 I moved to Australia. It was a very difficult journey, and I kind of had a difficult time to understand the culture, the system, the language barriers and everything. I start from English Certificate 2 at TAFE up in South Bank, Brisbane. And I went all the way through to get my preparation course to get to uni because they didn't accept my diploma from Iran. So I had to do another study. And then I got to uni and I was graduated from Business School, University of Sydney. And I had a lot of difficult time to get job. You know, I didn't know the system. I didn't have the connection. I was told it doesn't matter what you know, it matters who you know in Australia. So it was very difficult to build all this network and, you know, go through interviews, resumes and cover letters and settling down in Australia. But I was told that I have to learn the game. So I was, start doing it. I did some internship with Qantas, which was a very, very good experience. And I was kind of experiencing that a person who comes to Australia as a refugee, who doesn't know the game, who doesn't know the system, the language barrier, all these barriers that he experienced, I was experiencing, and I said, well, okay, instead of just, learning the game and going through all these processes of building my life, what if I can help other people as well? So I found that my story is attractive, so I go around and share my story and push companies, hey, you have to hire more refugees and you have to lower the barriers and the bars to get them in and be more inclusive and diverse. So That's what I do. Recently, I work, I go around, talk to, recently I talked to Microsoft, I talked to universities, I talked to, last, 2 days ago, I was with Virgin Unite and I was sharing my story, the same thing that, companies in Australia have to not just talking about diversity and inclusion, but actually start doing something. So, and I'm kind of a not a really successful but semi-successful experience that I work with West Farmers at the moment. I'm with them for 2 years, and I try to be a good example that a refugee can. It's like other people. They can learn. They can go through the barriers. They can pick up any task and get it done. So, and they can bring some taste to a business. It's like a spice to the food, but not much time. What I've learned through my journey, from since I was kid, I had a lot of issues. What I've learned is, with pain and adversity, I shouldn't take it personal, and instead of asking why me, I should start asking how and what I can do to decrease these pains in the world around me. Not the world out there, at least the world around me. And that's what I'm trying to do. Thank you.